They all are one and the same, exactly like these. They're very self-centered. They don't care. Suddenly they want something. They make plans without you. They leave you in the cold. They abandon you, but they're themselves afraid to be abandoned. You understand? But because when you are with this kind of parents, you don't learn to establish proper boundaries. And then when people start abusing you, for example, not giving you attention or playing with you games, mind games, controlling games, or they try to, I don't know, just push their agenda, and then they, yeah, but I still love you, I still care of you, or something like that. You kind of like, it's like normality for you. Oh, they say they love me, they care, but where is it in action? But then they go shopping, they lock you up. Where is love and care, right? But the most important is to understand in this case, first of all, it has never been your fault. It has never been about you, because we always connect our self-worth to the actions as children. And that's why we become so insecure. It is possible to heal, but and sometimes people may say, yeah, but other people have much worse childhood. Well, we're not comparing here anything. We're trying to understand how our own spirit, our own being, right, felt at that moment. Because whether somebody says, but why are you making such a big deal? Okay, you stayed at home. No, it's a violation of a spiritual and emotional boundary when someone locks you somewhere without even telling you. Just wake up and your parents are gone, and you see like, they write you. So they never took you in account. They never considered you. It felt like that that you don't matter to your parents. When you don't matter to your parents, your friends are transitory, transitional kind of. For example, you like feel like your friendship is based on some kind of transaction, right? As long as they need you or you need them, but you need them maybe much more than they need you, kind of. And you never have an upper hand. It's always one-sided, you understand? Because there is such an authority, control, and domination that it's always one-sided. So what potential do we have? What kind of partners? And I think that what I would instruct you to do, say, I sever the cords, energetic cords with this energy, so that you don't get attracted to the men of similar kind or to friends of similar kind. When you see people are superficial and transactional, they're like, I'm like, hey, we're supposed to go somewhere together. Yeah, but things change, but they never let you know. So you see, it's a disrespect. It's because they always think that they're important, that have upper hand. And it could be not even related to your self-worth. It's just they are like that. And that was such a revelation to understand that people are just so self-centered. And when you call them out and you tell them, like, what would you do if I was in this situation, or you were in this situation, in my shoes, and let's say you're planning to come and see me and I suddenly cancel the plans, or I go with somebody else, or something, how would you feel, right? And they can't even, you see, this is this kind of a mind, they can't put themselves into your shoes. So, but we fall for these people usually because they remind us of our parents. We still keep them, we're still like almost like afraid to lose them, because it's the same fear of losing that type of energy that your parents represented. The energy of emotional neglect, emotional inconsideration, emotional, I don't know, like just disrespect when they don't see, because doesn't concern them. Oh, we just wanted to go, but they never took your feelings into account. The same person, if you do not sever these cords, if you do not understand it, if you stop being attracted to that energy internally, it stopped being sexual for you. It's pathetic, or kind of, very strange. Why? Because we kind of have also this sexual attraction to our parents, but it's in a different way. Not that we consciously understand it, but we get sexually attracted to that energy, especially mother, because we take the breast, we're very connected, right? Because it's very deep when you go to very, very depth of this now parental archetypes, you start unraveling a lot of stuff there. And so we have that kind of a subconscious attraction, and it kind of becomes almost sexual, but sexual is just an attraction. It means that kind of, you just like that energy. because there were moments of closeness, there were moments of being enveloped, there were moments of this sort of, warmth that we associate. And Siddha Prabhupada was also talking about it, that this love feeling is from this closeness comes, and then, but now we also, as we grow, we discover that it's not just that closeness. So we get attracted to that closeness, right? And we kind of register here, like, I want this closeness, I want this type of, but then whatever else comes with it, the abuse, the neglect and everything, it also attached to this. So it takes time to really remove it mentally, to say, you know what, yes, I'm looking for closeness, but I'm looking for respect. I'm looking for closeness, but I'm looking for consideration. I'm looking for closeness, but I'm looking for care. Because if they didn't do it, like, and if, let's say, the father was there, but he was not emotionally available, he was not emotionally, or he was not getting this closeness. So you might also feel attracted to people who are long distance, where there is separation, because there was no reference point subconsciously. Yeah, they sometimes might buy you something or take you out somewhere, but they don't give you that like hugs or kisses or something like that. And it's all very deeply connected, because they also are neglected by their parents. If you talk to your parents, like, and they were sincere, or if they would want to be sincere, they would say, you know what, like, my parents didn't even show me any affection. So it's generational. And now when we start burning all these curses, when we start unraveling, we're like, well, this is the shit I have to face, in my family, because this is horrible. But I cannot undo my parents' experience. I cannot change them. What I can change is my attitude to make their energy not attractive, not sexual for me, not appealing to me. And the moment we make their energy, because and when does it happen? It happens when you understand your self-worth, because in those moments of neglect or disrespect, you remove your self-worth and you remove power from them into yourself. Let's say you imagine a situation, they left you, or they didn't consider you, or disrespected, or emotionally belittled, or abused. So at that moment you say, they did it because of them. They don't have any worth within. So I take all the power that I've lost in that moment back to myself. And I consider myself completely innocent in that situation, because it was never about who I am and what my worth is. It was about them. It was about their trauma. It was about their parents, or lack of love, or lack of understanding in life, like what this life is about, and their inability to maybe be in touch with their emotion. And then suddenly, when you removed importance, when you removed that attraction from them, you say, you know what, I no longer allow this energy. It's just not attractive. And whoever represents that energy is no longer interesting for me, is no longer attractive. And so you close the door this way to all these potential partners who will be representing that inconsiderate, belittling, emotionally abusive, or mentally abusive, physically abusive energy. And that's how you grow out of this. And this I've been contemplating for years, because I was like, but how can you come out of this parental trap? Because all you know is that. How can you stop attracting all these different narcissistic types? Maybe if your mom was overt narcissist and father was covert narcissist, and so you will be balancing, one time you attract overt, one time covert, or a mixture of both, or the father maybe was neglecting, or the mother was neglecting, or someone was emotionally unavailable, and you keep on attracting these type of people into your life, into your relationships, without knowing how can I get out of this trap, because you still feel this so-called attraction to them. And in order to remove that attraction, you have to go through all those moments of belittling and all, and take your power back from those moments when you were a child, and also look at that situation. Okay, when you were, let's say, left alone as a child, that was horrifying, that was mind-blowing. But now, as you're a grown up, you can stand your ground, you can manage yourself, right? Because so that shouldn't give you that panic or that feeling that the whole world collapsed, or you're worth nothing because they left you for a day, or something happened, or they, punished you without any reason. It's not your fault. All they did was expressing their anger, or not expressing their feelings, or just considering themselves. And so when you remove that value, when you remove that power, with that power, you remove also attraction. And when you really perceive that energy deeply within your body, what that energy represents, what does that energy mean for me? So, and when you really register, it's like not attractive, not something that I need in my life, you come out of this perpetual suffering cycle where you keep on attracting the same trauma in different bodies. Like sometimes if the parent talks bad about the other parent, you start thinking bad, and then you start kind of changing it from bad to good, because you start growing and seeing things for what they are. Or like a wife could be belittling the husband, and then the children think, okay, he's weak, he's bad. But then you find out that he's actually kind, but he couldn't draw boundaries. And so this all mess and drama that we create in our heads about like who our parents are, and then throughout our lives we try to figure out who that truly is, or what that truly is for us as energy. Especially if we grow spiritually, we try to understand what is this energy that they represent. And what I'm trying to say is that if you could not say no, if you had all these feelings, if your mom was narcissistic and kind of cocky and entitled, you could be coming across men like that too. And even though you repel that energy and you're angry with her and everything, on some level, she was belittling you, maybe sometimes disrespecting your boundaries and stuff like that, there will be still some kind of like an instant attraction to that. And that's what I say, that we need to kill that attraction, because that is unhealthy soul tie and soul bond with the unhealthy, unrefined energy. So when we start this work of refining our parental archetypes, which is probably a very advanced level after we've done a lot of other things. And certainly we can do that simultaneously with other work, inner work and unraveling patterns. But let's say once we approach the paternal, maternal patterns and archetypes, that becomes a challenge, because it's so deeply connected, because we were in such an unconscious state when we were close to them, or we were longing maybe to get close and they were far away, whatever the case could be, or there was a neglect of some sort, or there was maybe something else going on in the family and that affected our current state. And it still is affecting till the date, regardless to what your age is. I mean, the earlier you start this work, the more you have a chance to actually heal and start attracting healthy partners, start attracting healthy friendships, start attracting healthy work relationships, rather than having all this kind of messy situations where you're just completely blinded. You're like feeling like a victim. Why this is happening to me? Why am I always neglected? Why am I always not appreciated? Why am I disrespected? And you start creating the so-called selfish boundaries, like egotistical. Okay, I take my power back. You cannot take it from the egotistical point of view. You have to have spiritual realization that this energy is no longer attractive to me. This energy has never gave me peace. This energy has never gave me contentment. I need to find that peace and contentment within myself. And this energy never did it because I empowered it. I gave it authority. I gave it. Now I take all this power back. It was never my fault. It was never my doing. At that moment, I was just experiencing their reality, who they truly are. But I took it for love. And so I mixed that innocent feeling of love with all the other feelings that I experienced, the betrayal, the neglect, the whenever I was emotional, they would be rejecting me or whatever that was. And so I associated then love with rejection, love with fear, love with some kind of emotional neglect. And that's why we're having all these problems, because we attract similar people. They do exactly what our parents did. And then we feel dissatisfied, because we have to stop being attracted to such energetic signature. And in order for that to happen, we need to understand it, process it, realize, and sever the soul ties and the bond, the trauma bond between these energies. And it's not about people, it's about energy. You no longer allow that energy to have power over you. That's it. And when I speak also about like parental shadows or grandparental shadows, we speak about that energy having power. It means every time you come across someone and you find them attractive and you're like, wow, it's always through this shadows, through these patterns which are still unrefined. And that's why having balanced relationships, healthy relationships, is equals, from my standpoint, to enlightenment. Because in this day and age, we're all coming from very broken backgrounds, very emotionally, mentally, spiritually, intellectually disturbed backgrounds. And to have a healthy family unit, to have that family cell becomes the most challenging. Because spirituality is not outside of this life. We should not run away from life. We should embrace life every moment. The purpose is to enjoy. But we cannot enjoy because we are in the clasps of these parental issues. We're in the clasps of trauma. We're in the clasps of societal mind control paradigms which disempower us, and all kinds of unhealthy paradigms. But who has created? Because these paradigms are created by unhealthy people who were upbrought by unhealthy mothers, and neglectful fathers, or the fathers. But who are the fathers? The fathers are people who are brought by unhealthy mothers, because spirituality comes from the mother and ends with the mother. If the mother is corrupt, the offspring will be corrupt, whether female or male, and the society will be corrupt. That's where we have to restore our motherhood. But where is the reference point? And so the first woman who heals herself to that degree of enlightenment, of clarity, of balance, of within herself, between her masculine feminine, that woman will be the beacon light to the whole society, and slowly, slowly, other women will start rising and growing and rising and growing and unraveling all that, refining. And when they have their offspring, they will pass on wise modalities of upbringing the society, of being a healthy man, being a healthy woman, where there is true love. Because without being awakened to true love frequency, we cannot pass it on. And the whole purpose of procreation is passing on that knowledge. Knowledge is being. Being is frequency, who you are. So what did our parents pass on? They passed on corruption, they passed on trauma, they passed on rigidity. And that's why we have mental sickness, because we are rigid. Rigidity is mental sickness, emotional sickness, and results in physical sickness too. So in order to spiritually heal on all levels, including the physical, we need to learn to become authentic. Authentic means very flexible, very fluid, very accepting. And spiritual enlightenment is the same, expanding the boundaries, the range of your flexibility, the mental, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, acceptance, flexibility, flow, where you understand you neither believe nor disbelieve. You don't judge, you just act upon the moment, but not through trauma, through clarity. This is very rare, this is very unique, this is unknown, but it is a possibility. And so this is a healed state where you can be mundane, you can be suddenly high in your spiritual emanation, and your range of frequencies is widened. Unhealthy people don't have widened range of frequency. They have only very narrow. The more narrow they are, the less so-called clear or enlightened they are, the less aligned they are, the less healthy they are on all levels. And so in order for that to happen, we have to start again from this work with paternal, maternal archetypes. And firstly, we start working with parasitic energies, with detox and all. But once you've done that, you've prepared, you set the foundation, you have these you experience blissful absorption on a daily basis. That's a foundation. But this blissful absorption will allow you as a tool to see what your corruption is, what corruption you have access to because of the genetic material that you borrowed from your parents, what information you have access to within the collective through your DNA, through your genetic material. How can you refine? How can you close the doors? How can you dissolve that information within your own space of consciousness, within your own body? How you can conceal yourself and grow as an entity, regardless of what genetic material you borrowed. So that service that you offer through your spiritual work to your ancestors is just a thanks to or appreciation to that genetic material that you borrowed. But as a consciousness, you've done the work, you're free. And you just start having this refined, enlightened body and the journey along this life or on this earth as just consciousness, but with this refined body. Because once you're refined, you closed and sealed all the portals to that collective information. It's no longer there. So you're not affected. Your ancestors might also benefit through your consciousness living in that body. Because when you were refining, you refined a lot of things for them too. But it's not just enough to refine. You have to close the doors if you want to really gain spiritual autonomy and power within yourself. So that's the main point. So if we look at this way, we kind of start seeing that spirituality is not just in our imagination, is not just some kind of a hanging out, being happy, go lucky. That has nothing to do with anything. Spirituality is about coming back to joy on all levels, enjoying life, not running away from life, not creating corrupt ideas of spirituality, philosophy based on the parental traumas, rigidity, loneliness, isolation, shunning the world away, judging the world, antagonizing with the world. No, it's coming back to authenticity, flowing, being joyful, having happy family life, having happy, joyful life, but in a pure way, in a clear way, where you understand the effects of earthly energies of this world, what this creation is on this worldly level and beyond. And you understand the parasitic energy, you understand what it is to be in a really purified, transformed body, and you start pursuing life from the capital L and closing the doors to death. Death meaning premature. Premature, loss of life, the loss of energy. Death is loss of energy. Because loss of energy leads to premature death. So that's the whole purpose. And until we've done this work, I think we're just staying in the realm of imagination, suffering, limitations, you know. So start disconnecting, start severing the cords, start processing this energy, what that energy represents for you, what this parental, who is your mom, what kind of guys you were attracted to before. For example, a guy can, shower you and love bomb and maybe like, hey, let's go and spend, let's go and do this. And you'll think, oh, he loves me. What happens after? Consistency, dedication, truth. But we're not attracted to that energy until we close the doors to this toxicity, because we're like, we're attracted to toxicity. As long as we propel the toxicity from within, we're attracted to this neglect, to this, because we think, oh, he's keeping silence. It's more attractive. He's neglecting me. I'm pursuing, and you start going into these pursuits by neglecting your own needs, because your power still remains with that energy, and that person just but a projection, but a representation of that toxic energy of your parents, just in a different body. Because as long as you still have or keep that attraction to the parents, meaning that frequency is still nurtured by you from within, you'll be attracted to this kind of people with this kind of frequencies. And they will be torturing you, giving you life examples and life lessons and tests of how to free yourself from that. But you will go into dramas, you will go into different kinds of fits, because you want that energy, because it's like almost like, I want my mommy's attention, I want my daddy's attention. But once you've worked through within yourselves with these archetypes, you no longer feel attractive to that. It just doesn't move you anymore. Because you understand that true love doesn't need to be mixed in a pot with control, with manipulation, with deceit, with, betrayals, with any kind of fear to lose or anything, codependence. No, that is not love. That is the unhealthy, corrupt pattern.